All right, we're gonna go through a quick review of the Gearbox CX11. I'm gonna go through an intro, my initial thoughts, kind of the stats and specs of the paddle, a few things that I thought were pros and cons of it, then what kind of player this might fit. To start things off, for my initial thoughts, this was a pretty fun paddle to hit. It looks really cool. It is 11 millimeters thick, which we'll go through a little bit later with some of the specs. But it's kind of a fun, unique paddle. At Gearbox, they say that they have a hyper bite technology in their paddles with some of the grip on it, and definitely is a pretty spin-focused paddle with some pretty good touch and feel to it. So initial thoughts was pretty good paddle. I don't know if I'd use this totally all the time with a few of the different paddles that I have, and I really like the 16 millimeter focused, but for a pretty thin paddle, it is pretty nice, even though it is the control series and control version of this paddle. The stats I'll put on the screen here. Over here, I'll put it right above my head. But the biggest thing for this is that it's a pure carbon build. It's 99% carbon, essentially. It has the T700 carbon core with a 3K face woven onto it. So it is pretty cool. And the biggest thing with this, if you are somebody who wants to buy a paddle and wants to spend 200 bucks or 150 bucks plus, just know that this paddle is gonna last quite a long time because of the build of it. A lot of paddles, just because of the wear and tear, if you're playing once or twice a week and playing quite a lot, they'll probably last 3 to 6 months depending on kind of when you want to cycle through, if you're okay with losing a little bit of spin and performance. With this paddle, it's not gonna break. So if you're looking for a paddle, you're like, hey, I wanna buy this one paddle and have it last a really long time, Gearbox is the one to go, either the CX14 or the CX11. Both of those are super, super solid, and they have some new versions that just came out as well that are super awesome to look at. Pros and cons of this: one, it is 11 millimeters, so you can absolutely rake the ball, and I'm a forehand power player through and through, which is really awesome. The control of it was also, I'd say, a pro. Even though it is super thin, it's the control version, so it has kind of this technology that allows you to have a little bit more control than maybe a normal 11 millimeter, but based on some of the reviews I saw online as well, you can't really tell a lot from the control to the power paddle, or if you can, it's very, very minimal. So I really thought that I could control the ball decently well. It is the lighter version with the 7.8 ounces versus 8.5 ounces. So the biggest negative for this is some of the sweet spot. I feel like if I missed it, like I really missed it. So the sweet spot is a little bit smaller than maybe what I'm used to with some of the different paddles that I've used. But the biggest thing, like I said previously, just the longevity and the build of it and the look of it is really, really cool. So overall, I give it pretty much a B or B+. For usability, it's great. For someone who's an intermediate player and wants some extra spin, and is a power player, this is an awesome paddle to use. It can be control focused. Obviously, this is the control version. But like I say in a lot of videos, pick a paddle and get really, really good with that paddle. Because if you switch back and forth from a 19 to a 16 to an 11 millimeter paddle, it's going to be a totally different feel, especially with different faces. If you use maybe a carbon face or fiberglass, or even if you go from a wood to a graphite, whatever it might be, each single hit and every time you switch paddles, it's a little bit different feel. And I've noticed that because I've used a different paddle 3 or 4 games in a row because I'm trying to test out different ones for my channel. And when every time I change, it takes me like 4 or 5 different hits to really kind of get back to the feel of it. And luckily, I've played enough where I can kind of wheel that in and kind of narrow that in. But if you're looking for a paddle, just find one that you kind of fits your wheelhouse and your play style. And then from there, just get really, really good with it. I think the person this is going to fit best is someone who wants a paddle that's gonna last really, really long time. They don't mind spending 200 bucks on a paddle because they know it's gonna last. They're maybe a little bit more power focused. They don't mind that it maybe lacks a little bit more control than a 16 millimeter paddle. Maybe give it a test run to see if you like kind of like the sweet spots and some of the grip and how it really plays, because it is thinner, so it's gonna feel a little bit more shallow when you hit it, if that makes sense. But definitely an intermediate kind of style paddle here. So give it a look. You can check it out. Like I say, a lot of my channels, you can check out thepicklershop.com and use DBP10 for 10% off. That supports me. And if you like the channel, put in the comments below what kind of paddles you like. If you like Gearbox, if you do or don't like them, they're just a really, really unique brand. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys so much. Enjoy your summer and play hard.